it's time for something besides Burning Man. You know what I mean? It really is. That's one of the things that I really liked about one of your original statement purpose is like you said that you were going to continue to use and reuse things. So what inspired Chester is in 2008, on my very first appearance at that thing in the desert, it became very obvious to me that those who were having art car experiences were very different than those who weren't, right? And it was my intention to be one of those people that was going to have an art car experience of my own kind. If you ever find pictures of Chester from 2008, he's really low and all he has is regular old truck tires on him, all right? And they painted my rims pink and stuck a unicorn horn on me just to really piss me off because it's really not the look I was going for. They put a pink glitter unicorn horn out there in the middle of the night one time while I was sleeping and painted my rims pink. The people who were on my crew and helped me build them. So there's Don Kane, or there's Aaron Scott, right? Also known as Hubby. He did lots and lots of the welding. He was out there. We had June rain that year and we were welding outside. And so he was welding in the rain. So he got that done. Then there was Aaron Dana, also known as Montana, right? He did a lot of the electrical and the mechanical and stuff, like seriously. And I gotta tell you, almost all that stuff has been replaced. He did it straight up, you know, he made it work for 1 year, but that's all it had in it. By the end of that event, it was all trashed. But what can you expect? We started in June. We didn't have a really big budget. It all got ground down and dusted, and you know, I learned a lot of lessons. And thank God for him because, you know, I had an art car that year. So the pole. So I had a girlfriend, right, who like I was totally in love with. I mean, like really, and we were going back and forth. You know, she kept breaking up with me and then coming back to me. And seriously, she said it. Boom! It was like an idea brought to me from God. All right, straight up. She says you should put a stripper pole on that thing, and I'm just like, great idea. You know, she was kind of like, you know, in the fitness world and stuff. And, you know, she hung around with a lot of people that weren't strippers, right? But they were like fitness pole dancers, you know, fitness pole performers. There are two entirely different worlds in the pole dancing arena, all right? There are fitness and acrobatic performers, and there are strippers. And I love them both equally. Like seriously, I don't love one more than the other, right? They want to come up and they want to show up and they want to perform and not hurt themselves, right? Everybody loves them and so do I, all right? The way that we manage the crowd of our statement of purpose, what our intentions are, what our goals are, you know, how I manage folks up there, who I let up there and why, and what I expect of them as passengers while we are there has completely changed since I first got Chester, all right? When I first got him, I was just like, come one, come all. I'd mob 25 people up there, right? Seriously. And they'd all have a seat all over the dance floor and mob up there and pack all over and hang their legs over the edges and freaking kick plumbing lines and freaking make propane leak and accidentally set off my fire extinguishers and punch holes in my speakers, spill shit all over the place. And then the next morning I'd have to clean up 2 bags full of garbage and end up having to take home at the end of Burning Man freaking 10 bags full of garbage. All right. That's what my original art car experience looked like. Okay. Little by little, change by change, what I realized was, guess what? If you don't have it in a sippy cup or a bottle that closes, you gotta go, all right? Because I'm not gonna fucking clean it up. I'm sick of cleaning up after people. 10 people, that's it. We don't want the fucking car dude heavy, right? If there are 7 dudes up there and only 3 women, right? Guess what? No one's gonna fucking pop their ass out in all those dudes' faces. Stand the fuck back and let the girls dance. Dude, this is really my favorite thing to do. When the place is big enough and there's enough shit going on, I just like to roll up to highly concentrated people and throw everybody the fuck off. Sit down below with the flame effects control and let performers stand in line. Men and women alike, acrobats and pole dancers. We just park it and let them come up one at a time. My beautiful, lovely wife, Sophia, she's gotten really good at managing them. I take care of the car. She takes care of the dancers. It makes it a lot more inviting and entertaining when like it feels like women are managing like the crowd, right? Because if Sophia says, fuck you, you got to go, it's like, who's going to talk back to her, right? Me, I just manage the machine. You know, I manage the machine and she manages the people. Works out a lot better that way.
If you had to give Chester a movie house rating, what would it be? G to triple X, day and night?
R.
Or day and night?
R. We do attract, you know, strippers that want to come dance. You know, there's a large portion of them that would take their clothes off if they didn't think there were a bunch of cameras pointed at them. All right? And that's the only time we're ever R, right? Seriously. And Sophia, she's a good one. She's like she literally, like the second she sees someone take their clothes off, right? She is like in that crowd, like, what are you doing with that camera? Boom, let me see your camera. And she's deleting pictures. Like, she has no problem taking camera. What are you doing with that camera? Does your press pass allow you to take pictures of nude folk? Because you don't have our permission. You didn't get her permission, right? So she takes folks' cameras. She makes them delete them. We keep our eyes on the crowd. We like people to feel comfortable to do whatever they want without feeling like they're going to lose their job when they get home, you know, end up on social media. So.
I read that stream on the Chester page, I believe. I was really impressed by you. You stood up for your property. You stood up for women everywhere. And I thought that was fantastic.
I didn't name Chester.
How did Chester get named?
Chester got named by the artist who built the head, Rebecca Anders. Okay, and Rebecca Anders is a very, very well-known, highly admired artist at Burning Man among a very, very large community from the top to the bottom. She knows how to take a group of people who have never touched a tool and barely have any skills and collaborate them together with a handful of people who know how to use tools and from the ground up make gigantic works of art. Rebecca is the one that I was lucky enough to have build Chester's head. And, you know, the idea was going around at the shops, like, what are we going to name him? What are we going to name him? And, shit, I can't remember what I wanted to name, but it was, of course, some, like, you know, some tough thing, you know, dark horse of the top of the fucking apocalypse or some bullshit, you know, climate changer. I can't even remember, you know, it was something, you know, evil, you know what I mean? And dark and destructive, is, you know what I mean? Because that's how I saw him, you know, that's how I still see him pretty much, you know? And Rebecca said, among friends, Chester. And I was like, Chester? You mean like Chester the molester? You've got to be fucking kidding me. You are not going to name that is not going to happen, okay? That is not going to happen. His maiden voyage onto the desert, right? As soon as I got him off the trailer and I hooked everything up and made the speakers were that song by America, I've been through the desert on a horse with no name, all right? So I played that loud and we cruised around and it felt great. And sure enough, everybody started calling him Chester because Rebecca just said it among friends. And like, you know, the words that come from her mouth are as good as gold, you know, so it became written in stone. And he was called Chester by so many people. I was hearing it everywhere. There's Chester, there's Chester. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? The very first night I brought him out, right, I caught the attention of a couple of friends of mine, lovely young ladies, okay? One of them worked gay, and she was like, well, let's go out into Deep Playa and do slow nuts. And I was just like, slow nuts? Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. What's slow nuts? And she's like, that's when you bungee cord the steering wheel to the side and just forget that you're driving and go around on big circles. So we went out to Deep Playa, bungee cord the steering wheel to the rail, went around, started doing big old rails, just freaking barely paid attention to where the fuck we were going, you know, had the fire on, and honestly, like, leave the rest to your imagination. The three of us had a great time. Fucking forgot about it, you know? It was like we were adrift at sea. And so then I was just like, wow, you know, I just became a lot more open to like whatever everybody else said. You know, Chester kind of took on a life of his own. Chester, not so much the molester, fucking became a real name, and it came to fruition, and I just stopped resisting it, you know? All the best things about Chester kind of like happened on its own chorus. You know what I mean? It was like my ideas, but everything that happens is just kind of like, duh, dude. The car's fucking amazing. He's kind of like has a life of his own. Really, all I got to do is take care of him and bring him everywhere. And if I try and force something, he'll show me like that's not the way it's supposed to be. And then, like, as long as I continue to go with the flow and stop resisting, you know, like Chester has a fucking life of his own, and it's a pretty fun life to be part of.